giant meteorite has crashed into South Korea, and since Ground Zero is a Resident Evil style survival horror game, I probably don't need to explain what is it about. Two special Canadian agents, young Seo-Yeon and Evan Fielding, are sent to the site to secure the black box from the weather station containing the collected data, because this was obviously no ordinary meteorite. While the Korean Jang comes across as a very serious young woman during the opening briefing, Evan will apparently serve primarily as the comic relief. Well, he's a Canadian.
Don't call me a rat, buddy! I'm not your buddy, friend. He's not your friend, guy. I'm not your guy, buddy.
At first I was wondering how big the meteorite must have been if it hit Daejeon, and we are flying all the way to Busan, until the writers drop a bomb on me that all of South Korea was destroyed and, well, basically no one survived. Holy crap, that's basically Kim's ultimate wet dream. First I quickly ran through the tutorial. And what are you doing right now? Well, I'm looking for the tutorial. And the only thing I would add is that she's actually wearing pants, but I wouldn't be surprised if you thought otherwise. I thought that too at first.
2 hours later.
Anyway, we land and they destroyed Busan Harbor, and as mentioned in the intro, for once Umbrella isn't to blame. I hope. What's far more important though, right at the start I'm given the choice of heading toward the amusement park, which is supposed to be a peaceful little spot, or straight into the middle of hell at the local beach. I hope more choices like this will pop up, and I'm guessing I'll have to play through it at least twice to see if the difference is real or if someone's just pulling my leg.
물러서세요. 경고합니다. 제 말 들립니까? 저는 치명적인 무력을 사용할 권한이 있습니다. 사용하게 만들지 마세요. 저는 도우려는 겁니다.
At first I struggle the most with the controls. Aiming is fine, but then there's an auto-aim button, a critical shot button, dodge button, block button, counter-attack button, not to mention that sometimes you have to press the trigger and a button on the same side. And that just doesn't feel too fluid to me. Simply put, I felt like my fingers were getting tangled up on my controller. And that's not even mentioning that I approached it completely wrong for the first hour. I tried to play it like a classic Resident Evil, which means taking out every zombie or dog and relying on the developers to give me enough ammo. Nope. The hard difficulty, which by the way is only the middle one out of 6, though currently the highest, is actually hard, and if I'd started using that critical shot much sooner, I wouldn't have run out of ammo so quickly. I do have a knife, but it's useless. And trying to block or kick every zombie takes an absurdly long time. Not to mention that they move damn fast. What I definitely want to mention though are two key unique mechanics that come into play almost immediately. First, the healing injections can improve my stats, just inject 3 of the same color. And second, I collect DNA from every corpse, which means points for the upgrade station. Unfortunately, the first one didn't appear until 2.5 hours in, and considering everything my colleague had promised me to be able to get there, I was excited only to find out I could just buy grenades or ammo. That was a letdown, especially since the stylization is good, but I think we can agree it's pretty hard to read. However, after about 3 hours I'm definitely saying yes. Fans of old school classic survival horror will be satisfied, especially since the developers have also slightly tweaked classic elements like the item box. You have to unlock each one first with a simple math puzzle, and upon solving it you get an extra item. It's just a shame about the autosave, since we already have classic save stations. A woman? I couldn't even tell what I was supposed to be looking for. So I keep going, and my ammo problems are reaching its peak. I mean, I have a brutal shortage. I've even voluntarily decided to just kick lone zombies to conserve ammo as much as possible. I'm not saying it always works, but it's a huge help. A little later I decided to try kicking pairs or even trios, and since I obviously really love a challenge, I ideally do this when I'm down to the sliver of health and a single bite means death. I have also reached another choice. The path to the lighthouse is blocked by some kind of biomass that I have to destroy. I could either find explosive at the nearby police station or mix a few chemicals at the hospital and try to melt it. Surprisingly, my decision isn't based on the memories of Resident Evil 2, but on a simple calculation that I'm far more likely to find ammo at the police station than at the hospital. Plus, I should be able to upgrade my long unused knife somehow to give it an extra punch, so I'm curious. I spent an hour running around the station with barely a sliver of health left and unexpectedly ended up in a lot of places, but practically nowhere. And the fact that I'm constantly jumping into some holes really reminds me of Silent Hill 2. Ta díra je strašně tmavá a nic v ní nevidím. Skočit? Tak samozřejmě, že jo, logicky. I'm gonna ask, what were you thinking? I don't know. Anyway, thank God I'm conserving ammo as much as I can, because the boss in the parking lot was very hit scanny. I had over 100 rounds for that new pistol, and by the end I had practically none left. But what's starting to piss me off more and more is that I'm unable to scroll through the map. I can only ever see part that I'm in, but when you are looking for the places where you could still use a level 3 card and you have to run around the station from place to place just for that, it's a pain in the ass. That famous knife upgrade is nothing more than taping the leftover battery from the explosive to the blade. I gave it a shot to see if this improved knife with a taser would be better, and guess what? It's still shit. Which, judging by what I read on discussion forums, puts me in a serious minority, since some people claim this thing is totally OP and even ruins the game. Like, seriously? The next chapter takes place in a local luxury hotel, and right off the bat, a funny observation. The main door is closed, but the side entrance wide open. Some of those enemy positions are seriously fair as hell.
Flashback. End of flashback. Vana.
Ano, Vana. Vana. Vidíte to sami. Úžasné.
Vana.
Luckily, out of the 6 floors, only the top one is open, where I run into that hot Spanish chick again in some of the rooms. Considering I'm playing a special agent, she overpowered me with practically the little toe on her left foot, so she was able to make a clean getaway with something from the local safe, especially when a loud growl sounded behind the door. I think to myself, ooh, boss fight. And instead of that, 3 ordinary zombies. Oh god, I'm so sick of that roundhouse kick, and I'm sick of constantly pointing it out, but I can't deny that it saves me a tons of ammo. I also encountered new enemies for the first time in a while, and my initial reaction could be summed up like this.
What is that? What the fuck is that?
The main goal of my journey, the local lighthouse, is for some reason closely connected to the hotel, which I don't quite understand, but I won't deny that it saved me a lot of running around. In any case, looking down from above, we see that the infection is spreading very quickly. Those big glowing orange blobs looks like the roots of the alien plant, and there's the real danger that it could start spitting its seeds into the atmosphere, in other words, contaminate the entire planet within 48 hours. The solution? A nuke, of course. I could get a new, more powerful scanner to confirm HQ's hypothesis at a local university, and I'm very glad even managed to fix one of the broken down cars so we could get there as fast as possible. You know how it is. 48 hours. It probably comes as no surprise that I made the most of even in the minutes that followed. This isn't Resident Evil 5 after all, so the guy has infinite ammo in his assault rifle, even though the game calls it a submachine gun, and it didn't take much convincing for me to launch Operation Get Behind the Dog! Canadians! No, stop! Canadians! I hadn't even taken 10 steps in that damn university and I already had a strong suspicion. Skeletal remains of dinosaurs everywhere. Dino Crisis, yeah! Běž pryč. Myslíš, že můžu projít? Bych rád prošel. Aha. Aha. We will get that remaster one day for sure. Anyway, I was forced to pull out some heavier gear from the item box, but luckily even a single critical shot from an assault rifle has the same effect as the Magnum. You just can't panic and stress out that the dinosaur is running at you. Or the Tyrannosaurus.
Yeah, boy.
As a programmer, I have to admit that building a better scanner really does involve putting together a few lines of code. It was pretty much a shot in the dark though, since there wasn't any documentation, so I'm mostly just guessing what each command actually does, but trial and error work as always. I mean, I've worked at Blizzard for 10 years, so I know what's up. I also finally, after much struggle, found the first inventory upgrade, and I'm praying that I'm just clueless and missed the previous ones, because if this is really the first one, well, that's just great. At the local stadium I scanned a giant blob and it probably comes as no surprise that an old friend was waiting for me. I tried to fry it with a flamethrower, so Young panicked, even ran over, shouted, "Oh my god, light it up!" which I have no idea how she could hear him from there, but okay. And then suddenly the dinosaur dropped dead on the ground without me fully understanding how. But I'm not complaining, I was more sorry for all the items I had to leave behind because of the location change, or that machine gun in the store for 15,000 credits, which I've only just saved up and I can't go back for it. Boo-hoo, boo-hoo-hoo. Oh, and that Spanish woman Isabella ambushed me again. She claims she snagged the access codes to some satellite at the hotel that HQ is deliberately keeping quiet about. Apparently it was mining resources somewhere near Jupiter, but in reality it can do way more, and she says if I want to know more, I should go to a nearby bunker. So, what does Seo-Yeon do first? She asks HQ. I assumed I would get a choice about whether to actually head to the bunker or not, but instead, for the first time as Even, I'm rushing to the bunker. And guess what? The girl was actually right. Here's how it all went down. The mining company Stellar Mineral operated the aforementioned satellite, except it's equipped with a little switch that turns the ordinary mining laser into a destructive military one. Add to that a passing meteorite that caught the attention of a couple of scientists, so they wanted to redirect it to Jupiter to make it orbit around it. But oops, it didn't quite work out, and instead of Jupiter they sent it straight to Earth. The best part is that they knew about it weeks in advance and yet nobody did anything. Well, actually they deliberately guided the satellite out of the solar system so it wouldn't be discovered. So here lies a conflict. While Even pushes for the let's make everything public option, Seo-Yeon continues to insist on headquarters knows best, let's drop a nuke on the monster, and when Even logically responds, fine, but what if we then spread all this over Earth, what then? Seo-Yeon refuses to discuss it and walks away.
Women.
Controversial moment.
I swear to God, if they don't give me a choice about what to do, I'm going to be so angry. The peaceful train ride didn't last long, because some kind of monster sensitive to loud noises started crawling across the roof. I can't help but mention Resident Evil 0, and I'm starting to feel like Ground Zero is some sort of best of Resident Evil. Excuse me, sir, could you, I don't know, help me out? I didn't quite understand why, after uncoupling the last car where I would lure the monster, I had to run all the way back to the locomotive and slam on the brakes, and why I only had 5 minutes to do it, but fine. I ran this part several times because at the start I was very confident that I'm gonna make it with my finger in my nose, and it wasn't that easy. Anyway, we successfully landed near the military base with the necessary nuke, and an unknown helicopter flew overhead, probably with Isabel. While Even runs to check it out, I'm supposed to take out the remaining 3 blobs. Hey look, Resident Evil 4! But seriously, that boat is so incredibly hard to control, it's ridiculous, look. Sometimes up means up, sometimes down. Left is right, right is left. Great. And the best part is those contaminated zones that suffocate the main character. What are all those masks even for then? They are completely useless? When I finally got rid of that boat, it felt great, only to be immediately ambushed by an oversized rhino and given apparently my last choice, left or right. I deliberately created a special safe and jumped to the left, which means into the burning shopping mall, and between us, that alarm is incredibly annoying. I have to give credit to the fact that both paths nicely connect again just before the second blob, and you guessed it, the rhino is the next boss. So I pulled out my machine gun on him and was very surprised at how quickly he went down. Seo-Yeon, however, had time to let it all sink in on the way to the ground zero and basically told HQ to fuck off, even though she tried to argue her case as best as she could at the beginning. And by the way, Korean language is incredible.
할 수 없죠. 하지만 본부는 할 수 있습니다. 제 임무는 이 유성으로부터 나라를 보호하는 겁니다. 그리고 그렇게 할 겁니다.
You good, Seo-Yeon?
I'm done with HQ. Let's get that satellite.
All right.
Yes!
I knew I could.
That's our girl!
I still need you to...
But first I have to figure out how to control the nukes and the satellite while playing as Even, and... Is someone really trying to convince me that this is suddenly a mix of Metal Gear Solid and Splinter Cell? Especially since I'm fighting actual soldiers? And zombies. This section is further complicated by temperature changes in the rooms. While freezing deactivates mines, heat deactivates automatic turrets, though it's not exactly fun to keep running back and forth because you set the wrong temperature. At the control center I meet up with Isabel again and immediately get the news that there's only one admin password for the satellite and she set it to her own, but apparently she's really nice and at least gave me access to the mining company's database, which might be enough. Oh, and surprisingly I was given a choice again. Headquarters probably won't be thrilled with our decisions, so she gave me a virus to destroy our own scanners. I trusted her and I prayed that it was the right choice. So, here we go. I pick up the rocket launcher from the ground and head up to destroy that overgrown mutated alien tree with a head and tentacles. The plan is simple: shoot down the regenerative blobs, hit it in the face a few times, blast its heart with a howitzer, and if I'm lucky enough, even will chip in with a satellite. It looks like even that won't be enough though, because the monster is just too strong, and so the savior must come.
Like you could do with a favor, Bonita.
Who turns out not to have a heart of stone after all. I just found very funny how the boss waited there the whole time until the girls finished their chatter.
Get in, let's go!
After finishing the campaign, New Games Plus unlocks, along with of course all higher difficulty levels, additional weapons, graphic filters and most importantly the mode called Apocalypse Crisis. It's that typical arcade game where you have to get from point A to point B, but the problem is you have very little time to do it, and you earn that time by killing enemies or destroying hourglasses, etc. You know the drill. Personally I would say it's a nice bonus, that's for sure. Overall, Ground Zero is the best old-school survival horror game I've played so far this year. You could say that in many ways it doesn't just draw inspiration from but outright copies Resident Evil. On the other hand, it adds a lot of its own ideas, like the scanning feature or the critical shot, which you will be using practically all the time. It also mixes in a bit of Dino Crisis and a tiny sliver of Metal Gear Solid, so I'm satisfied, and for the fans of the genre, it's a must play. Saving the planet from an alien meteorite has never been more fun.